Hi everyone, I'm Eric.
I'm Craig.
And I'm Rich.
And we are Whose Turn Board Games. In this video we're going to be talking about the board game Earth. We're going to be doing a little review on it. In Earth you take the, you kind of build a little tableau. It's a 4x4 grid. You have cards. You need to kind of work out how to play the cards out in the correct order in some fashion. There are bonuses based on what kind of things show up on your island. You can have plants, mushrooms, trees, or I think bushes. And you have to kind of assemble them in some way to get bonus points. Each card will have typically growth of some sort in the shape of cubes, and then there is going to be actual growth on the thing in the shape of little wooden pegs. They do kind of all have their own things on there. There's a lot going on with the game itself, so if you want to see more on that, check out the how to play and set up in the icon above or with the video at the end of the screen. So I'm just going to start us off here real quick with a couple of things I really like about it. I really like this game. I like how you're always doing something. Regardless of what player is doing something, if they choose green, you get to do something with green. If they choose red, you get to do something with red. I love the fact that you're always doing something. There's never really any downtime. It does kind of come back around when newer people are playing because everyone does everything at the same time, so they can take a little bit longer. But I really like the fact you're always doing something.
Yeah, I really like that as well. A lot of the time on engine builders, you generally take your turn and then you sit and you might as well just look at your phone for the next 15 minutes because it's going to be a while, especially if it's got a game where there's 4 or 5 players.
Yeah, if the engine's built right, like at the end, you definitely take a long time.
Their turns can take a while.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I really like that there's a wide variety of things that you're kind of going for. Like he was saying, you got the growth, you got the sprouts. You also will be wanting to try and keep track of all the bonuses. That's one thing that can be hard to do in this game because there's so many different bonus cards that you get, as well as the, what are they, like the terrain top cards that you can put in your board that give you even more end game bonuses that you would even then have to try and figure out how to get those into the thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you have to kind of keep track of, and that can be one of the downsides is if you're not able to keep track of those and you don't do like a few of the bonuses like at all, you're gonna get hurt because they give a lot of early benefit to the people who do certain things first. You get a lot more points if you're the first one to get.
Just one thing on that. I think you're talking about the actual animal cards, aren't you? Not the actual like ecosystems?
Kind of both.
Okay, yeah. Because there are animal cards.
Bonuses.
Yeah, there are animal cards that the first one to do something in that like layout, 6 blue cards in their tableau, their 4x4 grid. That is the first come, first serve rewards. Mm-hmm. The other ones, the ecosystems, are the cards that actually at the end of the game you get bonuses based on what they are. Sometimes it's plants on your island, sometimes it's different sizes or so much growth on cards. So there are differences for that, for what you're talking about. I just want to clarify that.
True.
I was taking that as you were just talking about the animal ones. Like, hold on, they're 2 different things.
Yeah,
they're both bonuses, but
there's 2 different things. Like I said, there's a lot.
There's
going
a lot
on.
Yep.
So, and I lost track.
Lost track explaining how to lose track in the game. Perfection.
No, that's what was hard about for me. The early ones was getting everything right, and I know you miss a lot. But I mean, that's with a lot of games. It's hard to pick up first. It's definitely one of those games. Your first time playing against other people that have already played, you're gonna lose because you're just not gonna keep track of stuff. People will probably help you out. People are nice, but
To counter that, I will say that you can win the first time because I thought I did very well the last time I played this against my wife, and she beat me by 30 points. I thought I did phenomenal, and then she beat me by 30 points. I don't even know how she did it. Like, I still have the scoreboard in the box, but it's like, you can win this game based on card luck.
there is, and that's another point to it is I know one of the times I played, I had a bunch of things to do with mushrooms, and I'm like, sweet, a lot of mushrooms thing piling up. And you play diagonally to do something. So I'm setting up my board well. I think things are going well because I had a few mushrooms in my hand. All of a sudden, cards. No mushrooms. No mushrooms. No mushrooms. And you just kind of feel like, okay, now I need to start doing something else because I just ran out of mushrooms. So that can kind of stink. But I liked everything that Craig said. There's a lot going on, and like what you said, you're doing things not on your turn. I think that's one of my biggest beefs with Wingspan. A very comparable game, or at least for me, to this is, Wingspan, I play my turn, and now I can just go do something else for 15 minutes because I'm not a part of the game.
Yeah, yep, and definitely have that with this one. Not near as much with this one. There are certain times if you don't build out blue at all you're doing is, cool, I get one of these two options up here for blue, that's it. But you are in control of that versus other games where it's like you cannot, like you're a little bit more limited. Mm-hmm. I definitely think it falls, one of the bad things about it is that it falls into the category of games that have too many useless cards. Like Wingspan, like Arc Nova, there are a lot of cards that are just dud cards. They're not really any good. You don't really want to ever play them. So why are they in the game? They're just filler. They're just filler cards. So having that ability of a stack of like this many cards and really only this many are really good, or like depending on what's up there, you're only looking for a subset of this many cards, it really takes away from the game in my eyes. Yeah. It's really nice when it all works together, but there's so many cards in there, it's very hard to make it do so.
I do like to help kind of with something like that is on those cards, it gives you the percent of cards in the deck of those things. So you know if you're going for something, if this is a high likelihood you're going to get these cards or a low likelihood. That helps a little bit with it, but mushrooms are pretty popular in the game. I can't remember the percent off the top of my head that are mushrooms, but like it's a lot, and I just ran a bunch of turns without mushrooms.
I think it's like 18 to 19% is what it is for almost all of them. Terrains that give you the passive bonuses on your island depending on how you build it and what you interact with it. And then there is the event cards you can play from your hand and just instantly get points. Typically, it's you're paying something for that.
I don't think the event cards are honestly that worth it.
No, hands down.
I think their negative is too much for some of the positives you get.
There's like 3 or 4 that are good, and the rest of them, every time you get it, is you every card you discard goes in your compost, so it's a point at the end of the game, which is awesome. I love that. Mm-hmm. But every time I get one of those, almost unanimously, it's good compost pile.
Yep.
Like every single time, which that's a good thing. Is that, like I said, you need a lot of cards for this because you blow through a lot for your compost pile, but there are a lot of useless cards. It is a high-scoring game. Don't let that defer. Like it's not like 5 points will swing it. It's usually like that 30 points is about what it is for a swing for the between first and second, typically. And I'd say it's probably like a 60-point difference between first and last, typically. And it can come down to just placing that last card, because if you finish your tableau first, you get an extra 7 points. And depending on how you do everything else, you can get extra points. So that is something. It does matter the last round or two, but ultimately it's a very high-scoring game.
Yeah. No, and the only other thing I really have about Earth, too, if you can't tell by seeing the cover, is a very beautiful looking game.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
So, I mean, if you like beautiful games and engine builders, this is 100% your game.
Yeah, and it's a solid engine builder. Like, our complaints are the fact that it's like, okay, I tweak these couple small things. I hate the fact that, like I said with the cards, I wish there was a draw card, like not so much like drawing cards in your hand, but a searching feature. Like you can go searching for a specific one. I wish they had that, because far too often I'm playing the game and I'm like, I just need one specific thing. Like one type, like you were saying, mushroom, plant, something.
Draw until you get a mushroom.
Yeah, or something along those lines, but they're just not in the game at this time. Maybe sometime in the near future with the expansions or something like that, I don't know, but it is pretty honest in its time. It says about 45 minutes to 90 minutes. It's 1 to 5 players. 5 players does approach that hour and a half, 2 hour mark, typically. Especially with, even though everybody's doing the same thing, there's still people who are like, what did you do? I was busy talking because there's 5 people in the room. You know, that does happen, but you're always moving with that. And as you only have 16 cards to play out, even though you get 1 million cards, you do have to be very selective, so it is a pretty quick game. That it definitely has that going for it.
I will note there is one other thing I really like about this game that Rich was talking about, Wingspan, that Wingspan doesn't do, and that's While Wingspan has like birds with colors in the name or geographical, anything that revolves around like involving a bonus card, the name of the plant will either be like italicized, bold, underlined, or something, so that way you know for a fact, okay, well this is this because it's underlined.
Yeah, there's no question about it. It's not I need to go look at a forum and do that, which I think they learned that. We say Wingspan a lot just because it is kind of, it's a very popular...
It's premier engine builder. Probably.
Yeah, it is a very popular engine building that's still around now, and it is very well-rounded. But that definitely has that problem where it's like, well, does this count as this or does that count as that? Well, I've looked it up, so it's this one. Cool, you looked it up, someone said somewhere. That doesn't mean that the house rules, there's... In my eyes, there should be house rules for your house or for your group of friends, not because somebody somewhere else did it. It's nice to get clarification, but you don't have to 100% agree with them. That being said, that is amazing. It is. It makes it so much better, especially when those things come up. And they don't come up all the time, but when they do, you're like, well, I can easily tell what it is.
Yeah, and then it also, like, orthogonically or whatnot, it'll show, like,
the
arrows.
I hate that.
Yeah. I was thinking about when to pick that up. That's a cool way of how you're building your Tableau thing. Things have to be, placement matters. You can't just plop it down. It's really a cool aspect.
You have to go from your upper left one, left to right, just like you're reading in English, America, I should say. I don't know about other countries, but top to bottom, left to right. So you just go this. You play it that way, no matter what. You don't have to lay them out that way.
You don't have to lay them out that way. As long as they're touching, it has to start, I think, in like wherever, and then you can just kind of adjust it and kind of.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like, okay, I need to play it out top, like in Wingspan, where it has to go in these certain spots.
Yep, and it's very modular with how you build it up, because I could go one here, one here. I want to put one over here. Now this is the first row. I want to go one way over here. Now this is the third row. So
and now it's
however you want to build it.
This is all four rows.
Yep. So orthogonically, I hate that word. I hate that one. There's one other one that I hate. Every time I see it, it's an instant compost.
Oh. not quite. Not other words.
No, it's like it's a consecutive for something like that. It's like consecutive things in a row. You get 2 points per. It's like, what does it matter? I hate that much plan. Like, there's enough planning already. Doing that card is just overkill. But whatever.
All right, and with that, we'll get to the number reviews. So I am typically, if you've watched a lot of other videos, not a big fan of kind of pure engine builders. I do like this one a little bit better than aforementioned Wingspan, but it's still only like about a 6 in my book. I'm just not an engine builder guy. But with that being said, of these engine building type games, I really like Earth.
Yeah, and I understand that one because it does, like, we played it. We shotgun new games. Every time we get a game, we shotgun and play way too much. But I think that this particular one, with its replayability, with all of the things in there, with all the goods and bads, I think I'd give it like an 8.4. It's very solid, especially for engine building. It's probably one of the better ones out there. It builds on what other engine builders lack on. I still think it's got a couple of things it needs to fix, so hopefully expansions come out for that. I think they have one in the works. I don't really know too much about that, but I just think that there's a lot of good things going for it. The fact that you were in so much control of it makes it, the replayability, pretty much infinite. Yes, there are going to be crap cards, but sometimes there are going to be those times where those do come out. But 8.4, I think it's a good solid game. We'll always want to play it.
Yeah, for my score, I would say it's probably a mid-7, 7.5. I really like the game, but there is a couple things that I dislike about it. One of them is dirt. If you get a lot of dirt in like your engine as you're playing it out, that seems to be able to boost you, like past people a little bit easier, because then you can play out the better cards. But I also think just as you play it, after 4 or 5 playthroughs, it starts to just kind of feel the same-ish to me and kind of get slightly old, but I still really like the game. I would say it's right up in a little above average.
Yeah, I'm actually going to say one thing real quick about that. Nothing against your review, just in general. I saw this a post online on a social media thing, and it made me think, and that actually hit like perfectly with what it said. There is a stigma with 7s being bad. 7s are not bad. 7s are good. 7s are great. They're something that we want to play, as you just said. You enjoy playing it. It's not horrible. It's not a 3. But if it's not a 9, people think that it's the worst thing in the world. They don't want to play anything under a 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, he might say that it's a 7.5 in his eyes, and it's his opinion. You can do whatever you want. You can say it's an 8.2, but we just tried justifying why these numbers are what they are in our eyes. Because you even said in a 6. In my eyes,
I would still play this game. I'm not gonna be like, ooh, Earth. I don't think so. It's not gonna be as fun as other games to me. But that's to me. I think that's what everyone needs to look at scores. Like, you go online, oh, it's a 9. It's a 9 to somebody, or to maybe a lot of people, or to people that do some ratings. But it's maybe not your type of game. That's why I would just lump it in. I mean, if you like beautiful engine building games, you're gonna love this game.
Yeah. That's kind of why I went with a 7.5.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's an engine builder, and generally engine building isn't my favorite, so it usually will kind of get down a little bit because of that.
And it hits all the points for me where it's engine building, resource management, and strategy, because you do need to pay attention to everything.
Oh, yeah.
So it scratches all of those itches for me. But I also just love board games. So it's like I love all kinds of board games. There's very few that I dislike. Pandemic! But other than that, and there's a reason for that. Go check that video out. But other than that, I just wanted to clear the air with that, because it seems like we always kind of give it like a constantly a 7 or 8s, and it's because that's what we feel. They're still solid board games, so don't be scared that because he said 7.5 that's a bad. It's not a bad game. It's a great game. He just doesn't personally sit there and go, I need to play this every single time.
Oh yeah, I would never say no, but there's other games I wouldn't mind playing over.
Yeah,
is pretty much what it comes
down
to.
And that's it. So
if someone suggests I'll play, I'm just probably not suggesting it.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that I don't like about it, that kind of gets the rating to come down slightly, that is on the actual game itself, is I really don't want to have to keep track when I'm playing a board game of how every 6 different ways I'm trying to lay out my board. I'd rather personally, that's one thing I kind of like
Love that.
Wingspan, is because it doesn't really affect that much on how you play out your birds, and they can only go in certain columns, whereas this one is just a cluster on, okay, I have to put this here and this here, got to put this here, I need this exact card here, it needs to be a red and it needs to be a tree or it's going to mess up so much.
Strategic chaos is what I call that, and I love that. I love that so much. But that's our thoughts on the game. Just wanted to clear the air. Hope that you find it enjoyable. What are your thoughts on it? Have you played it? Do you like it? Do you agree with some of our faults on it? Do you sit there? Do you think it's a 9? Do you agree that a 7.5 is still a solid game and something worth playing all the time? Just kind of let us know in the comments down below. We'd really appreciate hearing from you.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know in the comments below. Are you excited for the new expansion that's coming for the game? I know someone is.
I am. So I didn't really want to touch base too much on that one.
Yeah. But...
Yeah. Yep. It may have backed it. May have backed it.
Bias.
8.4. What can I say? Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you found the video helpful. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to follow us on our board game journey, consider subscribing. That would really help us out. If you have any suggestions on other board games that we should check out, by all means, leave them in the comments down below on this video or any video. We respond to all comments, good, bad, or bot. So, thank you all for watching. I've been Eric.
I'm Craig.
And I'm Rich.
And whose turn?